I'm gonna quiz you on this book. Just kidding.
All right, it's Lit Book Reviews. Episode Dorian Gray. I am Toby Maguire. With me is Andrew Garfield, and welcome back.
Great power.
We're doing a little bit of a different segment today.
Yeah.
The Audible segment.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say books that suck. No, I'm kidding, but kind of, but not.
All right, so The Portrait of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde.
The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Is it Picture?
I think it's Picture. Is it the portrait and the picture? We're very prepared. I think it's Picture.
Dude, I swear. Hold on.
I'm
honestly pretty sure you're wrong. And if you're not, I don't even care because you don't know for sure. So.
I mean, I'm
it's
looking
Picture,
at the
bro.
Yeah. Oh man, Oscar! Wow.
God, should we start over?
Let's get wild, dude. Absolutely not.
Golly, man.
Let's get wild.
All right, dude, you take it from here, man. You got it on
man,
this
The
one.
Picture of Dorian Gray. What a great piece of literature. It's a must-read for anybody out there who has a brain. Let's just start off with a rip, man. What did you give this on a scale of 1 to 5?
Did you just say anyone out there needs to read
Anybody out there. Anyone with 2 eyes, brother.
Dude,
or potentially 2 ears, how we listen to it. Man, it was an Audible original. Just go ahead and pay that $15.99 a month or whatever it is just so you can listen to this for free.
If you spend $16 to listen to this book alone, it will be it'll be on the low end of worth in purchases in your life. That's all I gotta say.
But I will say, yeah, this is potentially a new segment where we just Audible books and then, review it because this is a book review channel. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people listen on Audible, and we saw it in, as far as The Picture of Dorian Gray, that is, we saw this book, and it's like, I don't know, like it's like in the top 10 for Audible listens on the free, like if you have that Audible subscription, whatever. But just to start it off, what did you, Jesse, give this book on a scale from 1 to 5?
Honestly, man, I've been thinking about this today, and I haven't actually gone to Goodreads to like really make a decision, but I gave it a 3. I've been thinking about going back and giving it a 2.
Oh, wow. Normally, okay. So no progression.
I mean, I wanna follow.
What do you think the Goodreads rating is?
I mean, I know it is.
It's
over 4.
Yeah, it's a 4.12 with 1.4 million ratings. That's a lot. It's a lot, bruv.
I mean, I have every desire to just flame the entire human race for promoting this book to the heights that it has reached. Honestly,
dude, it's got meaning. Theme.
I mean, I know, and that's why I gave it a 3, is because I do understand, and we can get into it at some point. But
so we'll start off non-spoiler, and then we'll just spoil away. But so, like I said, 4.12. I think I actually gave it a 4, but now that like it's been a couple of days, I mean, I'm gonna have to bring that down to 3.
Now that we've been kind of reevaluating our Goodreads,
I want to give it a 4. I feel like it should almost, on a scale from 1 to 10, what do you think you'd give it? Does it change anything to you? Would you give it like a 4 out of 10?
Yeah, dude, now that you put it in 10 for me, it might still be a 3.
Because, dude, I think this is like, I don't know. I can see why it's a good book.
Yeah.
And
the writing obviously is,
yeah,
good.
I feel like it was good. It's just everything in this, just for perspective, this was first published in 1890.
Well, and that's what I was just thinking too. Like, my overall thing, if we're a non-spoiler, would be like, because of how old it is and the style of language that it's written in, that might have been 25% of the reason that I didn't enjoy it. Because I'm just, that's not, I don't want that. I'm not there. I don't know.
Everything's so passionate. The first chapter,
I was confused, man.
Well, the first chapter, man, will have you questioning what this book is about for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, did you agree that by the 4th chapter it got a little, or maybe it was 5th, I can't remember, it gets a little more intriguing, or no?
Yeah, right around when...
Like, if it would have kept the same pace as the first, like, 2-3 chapters, I don't think I would.
I would not. I mean, in those beginning chapters, I was telling you, I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna do this. Yeah. Like, I'm giving up my weekly podcasts to listen to this while I'm working, and it's killing me.
Oh God.
But yeah, I would say around the time, and well, yeah, non-spoiler, but yeah, around there, 4th or 5th chapter.
All right. Well, I'll read the little intro or the thing on. This is again on what's on Goodreads, so theoretically no spoilers, but it's an 1890 piece. I would say, yeah, it's just very passionate writing. All the characters are like very thoughtful, like way more so than like anyone I know in real life.
Yeah, for sure. That's true.
But I guess that's probably why it's an over dramatization of like characters that I guess are going to represent things, which we'll talk about here in a second. But anyway, so it says, Wilde's only novel, first published in 1890, posits the idea that the only thing worth pursuing in life is beauty. The novel's protagonist, entranced by the perfection of his portrait and realizing that his beauty will one day fade, makes a... Ooh, I don't know how to say this word. Wow. He makes a bargain whereby the figure on the canvas ages in his place. Gray embarks upon a hedonistic spree of debauchery and cruelty which marks only the portrait's face, while his exquisite beauty remains intact. That's kind of a spoiler.
Yeah, if you don't know going into
which marks only the portrait's face. So,
but at this point, I mean, yeah, I knew because of the movie The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Is that based off of it?
No, he's just Dorian Gray is like a. It's like a Justice League of people in those kind of stories, like what's his name, Dr. Hyde and Jekyll. Okay. Hyde and Jekyll is one of the other ones. So it's one of those kind of movies. So that's the only reason I knew.
Justice League. I'm so confused.
So it's a group.
The Flash is in it? I mean, dude, I immediately was thinking like.
No, I'm saying it's like a Justice League type of movie to where all those kind of characters are coming together.
Like Frankenstein is in this.
Like, I don't know if he is, but there's some people I've never heard of, but like the Invisible Man's one of them too. So it's just like book characters essentially. And then Sean Connery.
What's this movie called?
A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Is it good?
I mean, I used to love it. I haven't seen it in years, and I've gotten to the point in my life. It's a movie. Gotten to the point in my life where movies like that I really loved in my like childhood or adolescence, I don't want to watch now because every time I do, it's like, man, that sucked.
Yeah, dude.
I watched that a lot.
It's like watching the original Star Wars trilogy, and it's like, and then going to, dude, the graphics now are horrendous.
Sure, but I mean, not
the
that
story's
one,
great.
Not
but
that
I'm just
one.
saying,
not Star Wars.
Dude, my fault. Dude. I'm trying to think, dude. I definitely saw something the other day, and I was like, that did not age well. I thought it was so sick. The one thing that has, though, I mean, Lord of the Rings, bro, hits every time. That was made in the early 2000s, dude, because they didn't use any of that CGI bull crap. They actually painted people.
Yeah, it was just different, man. It was a different set of things.
Well, so I didn't know that. So I thought it was pretty original. So obviously, like, this is non-spoiler. I mean, the main character, Dorian Gray, gets his portrait painted, and it's, you know, about that and kind of a twist that happens with that, which, I mean, I thought was unique because I had never seen that in a plot. And there are some twists in it. Again, there's a lot of dialogue. I would say this book's, like, heavily dialogue-driven. I mean, there is some, like, actionable things that happen, but they're sprinkled in there. Those actionable things are real sprinkled.
I mean, it ain't nothing but dialogue.
Yeah. Which, I mean, one of the characters we'll talk about later, I mean, I kind of liked, which I probably going to say more negative things about me.
I know who you're going to say, dude.
But I was like, dang, I'm kind of going to keep that one in the back pocket. But
you got some quotes ready to let the people know what you're talking about. Oh, my God.
Oh, God, we might get demonetized immediately. But anyway, I mean, I feel like it's one of those books in that, I mean, it kind of shows you now, like, do books even have meaning now? Because this one so clearly, like, had a meaning. So, I mean, I guess that's cool. And
it is cool, but it's another thing that I understood and liked, but also kind of hated about it. Because it was like, man, you could have just said this in way less words. But I get that the story makes it much more impactful, and you have, like, a deeper, like...
is this, like, a book kids read in school?
Yeah.
I could see where it would be.
Yeah, my mom told me she read it in high school, too. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Just for some context, well, let me refresh this website. I was going to give some context on Oscar Wilde. Oh, here we go. So he was born in 1854. He's an Irish poet. So he had a really big The Importance of Being Earnest. It was a play that I think he was like kind of famous for. I know I saw something where I think he ended up having a lot of success, and then like I think like I guess probably most of those like not aesthetic but guys that were super into art like in the early 1900s, I think he ended like basically poor. I'm pretty sure. But I guess The Picture of Dorian Gray is the only novel he ever wrote, which is kind of crazy. I did see something where like when he initially released it, it was like banned by I guess some English like censorship thing because of like how sensual like things were made. So I think he had to release a re-edited version. But anyway,
I mean, I can understand why.
Yeah, for sure.
I kind of want to get it banned. I want them to add that to the list.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones I could see where it's like a classic because he probably is like the first to do what he did.
Yeah, and it makes sense in that way for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, very theme driven. So like just to go over some themes, which is not I guess spoiler, but in case these themes interest you, like the purpose of art is really big in this. They talk a lot about art and like what it could mean, the meanings behind art, and how I guess art's losing its meaning. The main topic I would say is like the supremacy of youth and beauty, which is probably the main thing because it's all about Dorian and how he looks and like how that affects the psyche. And then SparkNote says the negative consequences of influence. So you kind of see this arc of Dorian, and then
I think like just general aestheticism is like a big like theme, and like I guess you kind of said that, but like vanity.
Oh yeah,
because it comes from a time when it was like all about like the things you had and like clothes and going to balls and like doing that kind of crap where you're just trying to show out.
Which obviously this is high society in England, right, so I mean these aren't the laborers. So anyway,
most people that read this book were like, "What are they getting on about? What is this?" Chapter 11, dude. The normal people were not getting through that.
What do you think the demographic is for this book?
Like today?
Yeah, like who do you think
losers?
Dude, but do you think it's male or female? For I just feel like guys aren't reading this book.
I mean, I can't. Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, and I
can't imagine girls reading it though. I can, especially today. Girls are reading and go.
Dude,
I don't like that.
Dude. I don't know, dude. I might have to freaking bleep all this out, dude, but I don't know, dude. Yeah, I swear, bro. Girls are surprised, bro. They'll be like, dude, Dorian's kind of sick. And you're like, what? Wait, what?
You're right. That is.
None of them are going to like Basil's character, which, like, he's, I feel like the only one with integrity, which, I mean, we're getting spoilers now. But anyway. All right, so I think I gave it a 4, but I'm going to bump it down to a 3. You gave it a 3. You're wanting to bump it down to a 2.
I'm wanting to bump it to a 3.
But it's a wildly popular book. I will say, as far as like audio goes, if we're still in non-spoilers, I thought the narrator was pretty good.
Yeah, he was super into it, and he like
made it easier.
Yeah, for sure.
The way he changed his voice and whatnot, and I like that it was in a British.
If I had heard just a monotone guy just talking normal, that book. Wasn't getting through
tough.
Yeah.
It would have been tough.
And I had it on 1.3 or 1.4
I think I had
speed.
On 1.3, yeah, and I was cranking it. So I think it's like if you do 1.3, I think it was like right at 10 hours or something like that.
I thought it was like 8.
Oh, maybe it was 8 then. Yeah, because I think it was maybe like 15, just letting it ride, which is like.
Does that math work? 15 to 8. If I go into 1.3.
I don't know, dude. I have no. I'm not even gonna pretend to know. But yeah, I mean, I listened to it over a couple days. It doesn't take much. I mean, but there's some chapters, man, that are tough. But I mean, if you're someone who cranks like podcasts and audiobooks, I mean, you could easily get this one done pretty fast.
Yeah, I'm also probably adult, so like a lot of people might really enjoy it. I just might be an idiot.
Yeah, we're deep in the fantasy world of like.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just rather listen to something like that, or I'd rather listen to The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want something that's actually real, or something that's so not real that I don't have to think about.
I mean, and of all the things for you to pick in that example, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich is hilarious. I know it's because you're reading it right now, but if you just take this out of context and that's the one book you think of,
dude.
Like, all right, dude.
Between that,
I forgot to start off the show with this.
Do you think you can play Piano Man on that?
No, and I shouldn't try.
Oh, okay. All All right, so are we good with non-spoilers? This we both audibled it. Didn't take long.
I mean,
it's in the top 10. I mean, look, if you're looking for something with some drastic meaning,
it's definitely got it.
Oh, it's got meaning. If you're looking for something that's serious and dramatic.
And I imagine if you're into like older style books like that, like Jane Eyre or something, I imagine this is right up your alley. Which I also imagine you've already read it at this point, if that's the case.
Oh man,
and your taste is different than mine, so
exactly.
It's a taste thing for me, man. It's a good book for what it is, but it's not for me.
Thank God it was. So it's only 269 pages.
I mean, it took me like a week and a half to get through that freaking Audible, dude. Wasn't it? Or was it only? No, it was only. Actually, it was like 4 to 5
You read most of it or listened to most of it in one day.
Yeah, listen.
You're like on chapter like 3 or 4, and then you're all.
It wasn't that. You're being hyperbolic. It was like the back half.
I feel like that one day, bro. You were like, I'm done. I'm like, dang, I still had 2 chapters left. I was like, kind of milking it just so that I wasn't done so quickly. Yeah. I thought it was gonna take you a little bit longer, and then you're.
I mean,
done.
It was a day, man. I had 2 inspections at both houses. The AC didn't work. So, and it was not. Both thermostats said 90 degrees, like the ambient air temperature in the house. So I was just listening to a book I didn't like and sweating my ass off. Got through that day like it was nothing.
Dorian.
All right, so into spoilers.
Let's do it.
All right, spoiler warning. Are we done? Spoiler. This book sucked. I just want to reiterate for the spoiler part.
All right, so do you want to talk about what we liked first? I know it's gonna be a short list, and then we can just absolutely go in on what we didn't like.
I mean, it's gonna jump straight to like the very end of the book for me to say like what I liked. But when Dorian died, I was like, thank God. And then the book ended like that, and I was like, wow, great ending. I was like, let's go.
He died and it was immediately over. I thought it was kind of interesting, like how he died. I mean, I didn't think that was how it was gonna go. I thought he was gonna die, but the fact that the painting or the portrait was still perfect, like it was just reverted back to how it was.
Yeah.
Was kind of interesting, honestly.
Yeah, it was cool. And I'm kind of kidding. I mean, there were parts where I was intrigued and whatnot. So I mean,
it's just so dramatic, and I mean, it's really just the first couple of chapters that were such a dagger, man.
I mean, that chapter 11 was worse than any of them. The one where he's just talking and talking about like the materials and fragrances that people are wearing.
I need to look up what the point of that was, because, dude, I really, zoned out on that one, because it was like 45 minutes. That was, like, the longest chapter.
And that's all they were talking about, it felt like.
Yeah, it was like him when he moved away to, like, Paris or something, and I guess it was, like, trying to say he was trying to find himself, maybe, so he's, like, getting involved in all these different things, and, like, he'd get involved in something, then he'd bounce around, because he was, like, trying to find meaning in it, I guess. But, I mean, I could have gotten that way quicker.
Yeah.
He's going out here and just selling his body, essentially. I mean,
because there's better ways to do it. Like, if I'm going to make comparisons, like, dude, remember the Count of Monte Cristo we read, was that last year? Mm-hmm. When it talks about that main character going off, you could get a little bit in the book, but then a lot of what you get is referencing the past at the point in the story you're at, because, there's that time jump and whatnot. That was way more entertaining to like actually get like, instead I'm listening to this king that he met in some place I've never heard of, and I know exactly what all his clothes are made of and what color they are and what he smells like, and I don't know why.
Do you think it's kind of like a name drop, as if like this book was written today's time? It's like, kind of like Lil Baby and Gunna out here, like, you know what I mean? And, like, do you think it was like something that people are like, oh dang, that's like the Ralph Lauren of today's, or whatever is the most like the Supreme of, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like whatever's in the now, clothing wise or whatever.
Supreme's dead, but yeah.
Do you think that's it? You think it was just like in the moment? Like if we would have read this in 1905, this would have been like, dang,
I guess. And there were some names I felt like I recognized, and maybe there were a lot, but I'm like you, dude, I zoned out for a minute in that chapter.
It's so much easier to do that on Audible too, obviously. Yeah, and I was mostly driving when I do this, so.
Yeah, and I was working, and that's one thing I forgot to say at the top of this is like, I rarely ever listen to an Audible. I did a little bit with that Genghis Khan book because I had so much driving, but that's why I can't do Audible, is because I'll zone out. When I'm listening to a podcast, it's usually something that I'm like already really interested and invested in, like those MMA podcasts or like whatever it is. So I'm listening the whole time. But this, if I zoned out, I wasn't rewinding. I was like, I missed it.
I rewinded a couple times, but not much, man. But that's also why I try to get to the end of a chapter before I stop, because I knew, bro, if I stopped in the middle of the chapter, bro, God knows like what I'm retaining.
I had to get through a chapter.
Back. But I also tried to write down like little blurbs about what happened after the end of each chapter, but I mean, whatever. So as far as things you liked Dorian dying.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I liked that. I liked I mean, there were times. I mean, the character that you're talking about, now I can't remember his name.
Lord Henry.
Lord Henry.
But they kept saying Harry as well.
Yeah, Harry.
Like,
I was getting kind of confused. So yeah, that's what I was gonna say is Harry. Harry, I liked. Obviously, there were a lot of things that he said that were ridiculous, and he was, yeah. But I liked that because of a lot of his responses to stuff became not like predictable, but it became like, oh yeah, that's something Harry would say.
Yeah, you knew his like if you were to do a classic like English test where it's like who said this quote from the I mean his would be so easy.
Yeah. So I did like a lot of like his dialogue.
Well, there weren't many characters, and so I mean obviously each character I feel like has to symbolize a certain like I don't know theme or something. I'm sure like if we really broke it down and actually were like literature like majors or something, we would probably understand it more. But anyway, so just as far as the characters go, we got Dorian Gray, we got Lord Henry, we got Basil, Sybil Vane, James Vane, and then everybody else is kind of like I don't even know who these people are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alan Campbell. I don't even know if I remember who that is.
That's the guy that
Is he the one who takes his body? He calls him up and like basically forces him to.
Yeah,
I can't remember. I feel like he did something really important to that guy to make him do that, and I
think that is who it was. Is Alan Campbell.
Anyway,
we might be totally wrong. Whatever. There was a guy that killed himself. I know Alan Campbell killed himself.
Yeah, someone. I think the guy whoever took the body. I think killed himself.
He ended up killing himself. I think.
I will say when I first started it, bro, I really thought Basil was gonna be the main character, and when he got absolutely assassinated, I was like,
that did take me for a loop. I was
kind of. I mean, as hurt as I could be from this book, I was slightly hurt.
Yeah.
Because Basil's out here like the only one trying to like actually help people out, and I guess that's what his character's supposed to be.
But he's also like the most dramatic one. I get so tired of him talking. So part of me was like, you know what, dude, you kind of deserve that because you run your mouth so much. You're so dramatic and you say so many ridiculous things. Just get your point out.
Yeah. Did
And I also don't I couldn't understand the concept of like him like all of his art being like informed by Dorian Gray and the way he looked and like all this stuff. And it was like even if that were in like a romantic way, like in a gay way, it's still just like, bruh. Like what do you mean?
Was something,
like
because
he never really explained
what made
himself.
it almost like not make sense is that it wasn't. It wasn't like a homosexual thing at all.
Well, yeah,
which
but that's
almost
what I'm
makes
saying.
it more of like I don't get it.
It's like what? Yeah, but it's like he's just saying like he just never explains himself.
I think it's something about I guess how Dorian like when they first meet him is so simple and like basically he's just like a pure beauty, and like part of that purity is the fact that he's like ignorant. And that I guess like once you learn stuff, maybe that like corrupts you as well because now I feel like things are more real for them. Yeah, exactly. Seuss Braun too. To make it better, less.
Just doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I mean, I think, and so I get that, but his whole thing about like, oh, there's some secret locked in this painting, and I can't really tell anyone. And I told Lord Henry, and now I can't tell you, but I'll tell you now if you tell me what's going on with you, man. And
he didn't tell Lord Henry though.
Yeah, he did. That's like the only. Remember, he like Lord. It's like what he tells him like the first chapter, and that's why he's like, I got to meet this Dorian Gray because he's like, I put my. Which I don't know. Now I guess maybe he did tell him though, because that Lord Henry tells to Dorian like the only time Basil ever intrigued him was when he like told him this one thing. And
I thought you were saying that Dorian told Harry about the painting. Sorry,
I was talking about like how Basil had like some secret about how like he revealed who he really is in that portrait of Dorian. Which I'm like, what is that?
What does that mean? What do you mean?
What does that even mean?
You painted another guy. How does that reveal you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's like a part of the time when we just don't, I don't know. I
mean, dude, the one thing that I just understood from this book was that it was just a commentary on like vanity and like aestheticism and material possessions.
I will say I did see some stuff coming. Like, I didn't see him like all of a sudden like falling in love with a girl. Like, that kind of threw me. So as far as Dorian falling, like going, he goes to the thing and sees Sybil, and like I understood that art comparison a lot more of like why he loved her, because like she was able to act so well. Like one night she's this, one night she's that. Like
it's but like, I feel like him falling in love so easily and then consequently falling out of it so easily is another thing. Just talking about his youth and ignorance.
Yeah. He only appreciates certain things, but dude, as soon as like
He savaged her, dude.
Bro, but as soon as, like, she comes out and she's trash, I knew exactly why. Like, I knew that it was because she loved it. Like, that whole side of it. I didn't think she was going to kill herself. And that kind of hit me after, like, Lord Henry shows up and he's like, which is kind of wild that, so just to recap, he goes to the thing, obviously, brings his boys, she's trash. It's because she finally knows what true love is now, so now she can't act because she knows, which is, that whole concept of that. And then Dorian's like, bro, do you mean nothing? That was like the only reason I valued you is because you were so good at what you do. And then storms off. Then the next morning wakes up, regrets like what he does because he looks at the painting, I think, and it like kind of
when then he has that thing, he's like, I'm not gonna be this person. Like I'm gonna.
So he writes her this love letter saying like, I want you back. Like I really love you, whatever. Then sees Henry or whatever, and he opens the letter then, and he's like, oh, you don't know she's already killed herself. And I guess like somehow because he already wrote the letter before she knew that she died, like. I mean, I think the picture, I guess, was already taking I guess that's, like, what made him more aware of, like, oh, this picture's kind of taking everything, like, all the guilt and everything, because I don't even feel bad. And because I guess the next chapter is Basil coming in. He's like, dude, I'm so sorry, man, about what happened. He's like, what? I'm good.
Oh, what do you mean, bro?
And he's like, I heard that you were out at whatever, but I know that can't be true because I know you're probably here, like, sulking. He's like, nah, bro. Like, I was
at the opera, dude. It was lit.
I was getting lit. Yeah. Oh, God. But, I didn't think she was going to kill herself.
Oh, I did, dude. The second that he left.
But I knew the first thing.
And, like, got there and started, like, rethinking it, I was like, oh, dude, he's going to turn around and then she's going to kill herself. Like, no, like, she's going to be dead already. I knew it.
Well, especially, bro, after there's a side chapter where it's her mom, and James. And James, like, bro, I'm killing
major
this guy.
Foreshadowing if anything happens to you. You're just like, clearly something's going to happen to her. Like, somehow, and he's going to try
I'd kind of forgotten about James. That whole 40-minute chapter of the jewels and the perfumes and the textiles, dude, I kind of forgot about our boy James.
I really forgot about the whole first half of that book after that chapter. I was like, what am I reading?
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, his transition from wherever he's at in like London, or I don't even know, I assume London, to like I guess Paris or wherever, and like starts doing stuff but isn't doing stuff. Like I don't know, that was the other thing I couldn't tell. It's like, yeah, no, I guess he's doing stuff, but like the way it kept referring to how he still looked so pure, so I guess he's not doing stuff. I couldn't tell if that was just like a part of the literary like writing of them showing that he is doing stuff but no one thinks he is because he hasn't changed, because that was like a big theme of like basically you show kind of your actions. Like if you're a bad person and you're doing bad things, like, you can't hide that from people. You can hide it from people as far as like not telling them, but like it'll show on you as a person.
Eventually it's gonna,
and that, which I think is kind of a cool concept, which I feel like I probably agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, bro, look at, I guess this is not the same, but as far as like at least stress, like looking at a picture of Obama, like when he first went into office and then after his 2 terms, I mean,
it's like, wow, really does something to you.
But
it's with all those recent ones, man. George Bush, dude, looked totally different.
Really?
I mean, do you see Abraham Lincoln, bro, when he went in and then his second term, like his presidential picture on his second term?
Yeah.
He looked tough.
Yeah, dude, that last picture I saw him look pretty tough. My fault.
Dude. Come on, man.
Sorry, I had to. But anything else you like from this book? I feel like there was something else I was going to mention. And I forgot.
No, dude.
What about him? What about James just chilling behind a bush and getting absolutely glizzacked? Like, dude, what? I was like,
and that was one of those things. It was like, what's the concept behind this? There has to be something.
I guess to free Dorian. I don't know. I mean,
no, but I mean, like, what's it mean? Like, what's the meaning? Yeah. Like, is there something he's saying with the fact that the first time that James comes to kill him, he's able to talk him out of it because he looks so young, and then the second time he's waiting for him, he gets blown with a shotgun through the chest.
But not even by Dorian. No. Whoever, someone else.
Dorian didn't even know it happened until they're like, oh, he looked like a sailor. He had tattoos. Yeah. And it's just like, come on, man.
Oh, something we didn't talk about, dude. Bro, this went so over my head. The Yellow Book.
Dude, I remember hearing something about a book, and it was when I kind of zoned out. You're going to have to fill me in.
I can't believe you gave me that book, Harry. Harry gives him some book. He asked him, to give him a book so that he has something to keep his mind off, and it's a book about, I think, a guy who I guess basically kind of lives the same life that he does. I mean, we're gonna get destroyed in the comments, bro, from this, because I'm pretty sure this is like a vital thing, part of this book. But bruh, that was in one ear and out the other. I have a thing pulled up. It says the Yellow Book. It says Lord Henry gives Dorian a copy of the Yellow Book as a gift, although he never gives the title. Wilde describes the book as a French novel that charts the outrageous experiences of its pleasure-seeking protagonist.
That's a tough noise to make.
We can fairly assume that the book, apparently it's some book that people would know about back then. It says this book becomes like holy scripture to Dorian. Yeah, I remember him saying this. He buys a bunch of them in different colors and like reads it based off whatever he's feeling. The book represents the profound and damaging influence that art can have over an individual and serves as a warning to those who would surrender themselves so completely to such influence. But what, I can't remember. It was something about charts the outrageous experiences of its pleasure seeking. I guess it's just a guy who's like all about like getting lit. Maybe, I don't know.
Something like that, dude. I don't know.
Dude.
Something like that. But I mean, yeah, overall, I didn't like it, but I did get like a lot of the value in it, and I understood why at the time it was written it was a big deal. But
yeah,
it definitely just seemed like, I mean, it was just so much conversation about like just in the most drawn out way possible.
Yeah, it was. There were some,
and some of it felt completely pointless. Some of it felt like it didn't need to be in there.
Whenever there was a chapter in Lord Henry, whatever his name is, wasn't it? I was like, yeah.
He was definitely,
I mean, he's a whiner, so it's tough.
Dude, I couldn't stand his character. If we want to talk about characters, I could not stand the main titular character.
Yeah, he was tough, dude. And it was funny when he was around Lord Harry, because, I mean, he's just kind of talking over his head and, like, flaming up stuff. Dude, just to get into some quotes, man.
Here we go.
Read this, Jesus. So, again, this is Lord Henry, or Harry, whatever you want to say. One of the things that I guess was important, so I wrote it down, he told Dorian that he represents all the sins you are afraid to commit. And this is like early on. I think it's like chapter 6. Because you could say, dude, I mean, Lord Henry was the whole reason Dorian does what he does, man.
Yeah.
He kind of corrupts him, which, I mean, I guess part of it is just giving Dorian the ability to start questioning things, and then he just goes like so far downhill, and obviously makes the whole little.
Well, he gives him such extreme views on things.
Oh yeah,
and then
which he's probably being satirical, and I just think Dorian takes it literally.
Yeah.
But dude,
and it's funny because he blames Basil more than he blames anybody for like the way his life turns out, and it was Harry that was like,
well, Basil's like the one that's still.
Basil was just like, dude, I love you.
Dude, come sit for me. Another thing that Henry said to Dorian, so this is like as the play is ending, or well, no, because they like leave, and so it's like it's like maybe during intermission or something. I can't remember the specifics, but they're about to leave, and so Basil and Henry are about to leave, and Henry says to Dorian, he says, if she knows as little about life as she does about playing, or wait, if she knows as little about life as she does about acting, she'll be the most delightful wife. And dude, I was like, bro, dude, I mean, this man had some daggers to say about women. Dude, this one is the one I texted you, dude. This one was vicious. So this is what he says. This is when Sybil's already killed herself. Henry comes to her house. Comes to Dorian's house, and he says, because he's like, I was so cruel to her, is what Dorian says, and then this is Henry's response. Women appreciate cruelty more than anything else. We've emancipated them, but they remain slaves, looking for their masters all the same. They enjoy being dominated. I was like, oh my God, dude.
It was just like, whoa.
So anyway, obviously Dorian's getting all that information from Lord Henry, and then just decides to go off the wall. And then it is kind of funny that he's like, I'm going to be a different man. I'm going to change. And he's like, dude, I saw this one girl, like, made her fall in love with me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a good person, so I'm just going to, like, let you know. Instead of, I guess, just making you kill yourself. I don't know, like, how that was any different.
Well, he was so vain at that point. He was like, I can't, like, even involve myself with a girl without her killing herself if it doesn't work out.
But he already involved himself with. That's what I didn't understand. Like, him, I guess him maybe seeing a girl, and this is just so, like, vain to say, but like, if he would have been like, I saw this girl and I thought she was hot, but I didn't go talk to her, that would maybe, I mean, that's still a ridiculous thing to say, but he was like, yeah, talk to her, and like, yeah, she still cried and everything, but and it's like, so what did you actually do? And I think Henry calls him out on it.
Yeah.
But I did think it was weird that he never confesses to Henry. And I guess that's like a part of the book, so that Henry's like, oh, dude.
Yeah. No, dude, that would have made it too entertaining.
The whole time he's like, oh, you couldn't do it. And I think he says that towards the end. He's like, yeah, you could never kill somebody. Or
yeah, he literally says that. He said, I couldn't imagine you.
Oh, yeah, because he's like, what if I was the one who killed Basil?
Yeah.
Or what if I killed Basil? And he's like,
and Harry's just like laughing and like thinking he's just around.
See, but he also was like saying that he wished he knew somebody that killed someone. So it's like, why didn't he? I mean, I know he's joking too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway, but I don't know if I have much more to say about this book.
Yeah.
It makes me want to read a couple more just to at least test the waters. Like, I saw The Tale of Two Cities is supposed to be like a book you're supposed to read for sure. Have you ever read any Mark Twain? I've never read any Mark Twain.
I mean, like Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer.
Wait, who am I thinking of? I'm an idiot, dude. We're gonna have to cut this.
Who are you? No, you're not cutting it. No, you left my. You left.
Dude, it's not Mark Twain, bro. Who is it? He wrote Tale of Two Cities, and then the other one. He's an English writer. I don't know why I said Mark Twain, because that's obviously a great American writer.
I don't know,
dude.
man.
I'm an idiot. I almost like don't want you to look it up because I know it. It's just on the tip of my tongue. There's the other one that he wrote about the orphan boy, the Prince and the Pauper. I think.
We're so dumb. It's Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens, bro. Wow.
He wrote Moby Dick, right? Is that what you just said?
Yeah,
he wrote Moby Dick.
I think he also wrote Star Wars: The Last Jedi, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he also wrote Romans, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Galatians.
The deep cut.
Wait, so hold on. So what else did Charles Dickens write? Are we
he
stupid?
wrote A Tale of Two Cities. He's written some bangers.
Oh, Great Expectations.
Great Expectations.
Okay. David Copperfield.
Prince and the Pauper?
A Christmas Carol.
No, he wrote A Christmas Carol?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what it says.
I thought the Muppets wrote that, bro.
Wait, who wrote Moby Dick? Dude, if people watch this entire episode,
know who wrote Moby Dick.
We are gonna lose. We're gonna lose all respect.
We are fantasy and nonfiction.
You know who wrote Moby Dick?
Wait, give me what's it start with?
I'm not telling you. Do you know who wrote Moby Dick?
Give me the starting letter. I think I know. Because I am Ishmael is the starting line. I tried to audio Moby Dick, bro, and it is tough, brother.
Dude.
You want to talk about tough?
There's no way you're going to say this name.
Of Moby Dick.
There's no way. If you say this name, bro, I'll do anything you ask.
Dude, just give me the first letter.
No.
Why? If it's that far.
Because I don't know, bro. Maybe it's on the tip of your tongue. I don't want you to have this. It starts with a freaking H. There's no way you get this name.
What is it?
Herman Melville.
Oh, I did know that.
No,
I did. I knew Melville. I knew it, dude. I knew it.
So the H did nothing for you then.
Bro, because that was one of the books I tried to audiobook it because it was like one of those ones. It's supposed to be like a book you have to read before you die. Moby Dick. And
yeah,
I'm like, all right, I'll
whatever.
give it a
I
try
watched the Chris Hemsworth movie. Whatever.
You seen the movie? Is there a movie?
I think it's supposed to be that.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is that? Megatron or what is it? Megalodon? Is that what that?
No, dude. It's called
the Meg 2. Is that what that one's about?
Something? I don't know, man.
God, dude.
You can put it up on the thing.
I don't put it right here. Like, dude, yeah, for sure.
Oh, dude.
Sheesh. Well, if you're still listening, man.
Sorry.
I hope your day is gonna somehow get better. Cause Jesus, I don't know if listening to the Picture of Dorian Gray is gonna help you do that.
Good Lord.
Honestly, don't read it. Go on Goodreads though and just rate it a 1.
Just review bomb this thing,
just
man.
Absolutely tank this.
Oh God.
But hey, if there's something we're missing, honestly, don't even comment. Honestly, I don't even want to know. Maybe it's something about we have to read it.
I'm not reading the comments on this one. No shot. I'm not reading any advice on how to enjoy this more.
Oh God. But I will say, if there's a book that's a classic book and you've read The Picture of Dorian Gray, and you're like, yeah, that book sucked, but this book, written in the same time period, this one really characterizes like early 1900s literature or like late 1800s, like drop that in the comments because I mean I can't say I've read a lot. I've read Anne Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, which is about the only thing that I feel
makes
like
let's see. What are some of the books I can remember from high school? I read Crime and Punishment, Jane Eyre.
You read Crime and Punishment?
Mm-hmm. In AP, whatever. Yeah, Dojveski.
Dude, I can never say his name correctly, bro. It looks sick though.
It wasn't when I read it.
It wasn't?
I mean, I know at this point from what I remember, I think I'd like it a lot more now. But I got like 200 books I need to read first. Count of Monte Cristo I loved in high school. I did not like Jane Eyre. I feel like I read Great Expectations. To Kill a Mockingbird. I don't remember liking that.
I haven't read To Kill a Mockingbird, Great Expectations. I haven't read any of those, bro. I don't know what we read, dude. I remember reading Beowulf and doing a bunch of like Shakespeare stuff. But I wouldn't even count that as a book. You know what I mean? I'm trying to remember. We had to read like the mythology book where it's like just going over a bunch of myths. Like I remember.
By Edith Hamilton?
No, I might have that book actually. Is that mine?
No, that's mine, dude.
I think
Get out of here.
My fault, dude. I'm trying to think, dude, of other books I read in high school. Like I didn't read Scarlet Letter. I'm like, dude, what was going on, bro?
Scarlet Letter I read.
There were so many that everybody read. I read the one dude. I don't know why I always forget this one. The one where the kids go on the island and.
Oh, dude, we're gonna forget this one again.
Dude, I always want to say the Bay of Pigs, bro. I don't know. I'm like Cuban Missile Crisis. I don't know why, dude. Because then there's a kid named like Piggy or something in it who gets savage. Dude, I don't know why the Bay of Pigs hits me every time when I'm trying to think of that book.
Put movie with kids on island and it brought up Spy Kids too. Lord of the Flies.
Dude, the Bay of Pigs. I don't know why that's forever like ingrained in my mind beside the Lord of the Flies.
Brilliant Disaster.
I don't know why.
That's a book you should throw up on the screen.
John
Great book.
Kennedy's
Brilliant Disaster.
biggest blight.
Hey,
and he ends up making it
bro.
Not a blight, I guess.
Don't make me do a 15-minute segment on how that wasn't completely JFK's fault.
All right.
He definitely played his part, but come on. Don't put it all on him.
The CIA, dude.
I mean, that's one of
them. But anyway, I haven't read a lot of those classics. So if there's a classic that we need to read that's actually good, like one that's like, man, this one changed my life, I'd be willing to read it, honestly.
I want one of those old,
I want a good fiction.
Yeah, I mean, or even a good old science fiction.
Dude, have you read
like
Uncle
Stranger
Tom's
in
Cabin?
a Strange Land? I think so.
I've never read it, and I feel like it's good. Gone with the Wind, I've heard is gas. I've never read it. I mean, I've heard it's long, but
Gone with the Wind,
bro, I've heard that's a really good book. Nah, for you?
I mean, these aren't happening anytime soon, bro.
Antebellum, that's your favorite time period.
I don't know if it's my favorite time period. It's got my favorite guy in it, though.
Dude, never forget you telling me you were reading a book about the Civil War, bro, and a girl asked you support slavery. You were like, yeah, that's why I'm reading about this Civil War that ended slavery.
I just read about it and get pissed.
Like, what?
They should have won. Like, come on.
What?
It's crazy, dude.
God. All right, well, the Picture of Dorian Gray, man. Oh, man. All right, well, we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to talk about something that actually blew my socks off here in a second with another person here.
Something that blew a lot of people's socks off. All right, I'm Bradley Cooper. That's Jennifer Lawrence. We'll see you here soon.